Well, this is Actors Notes. This is a solo podcast where I reflect on what I'm learning in real time through acting and improv training and just the process of becoming better in life, in my acting life, and in this craft. Now, these aren't polished lessons or advice from someone who's figured it all out in the industry. These are just moments, these are notes, and I have my notes here, just moments of awareness, things I'm still noticing while I'm in the middle of class or while I'm on set, and things that I've I've experienced, and maybe you have experienced too, and maybe we can help each other out by sharing that experience. Like, oh, you go through that, I go through that. You your tummy grow. How do you get the things that you eat the day before affect how you feel, and how do you fix that? Stuff like that just happens in my mind that I write notes down about. And today I wanted to talk about something that's been showing a lot of just been showing up a lot for me recently in class, and that is monologues. Now, this is what we kind of talked about in class. I take a Monday night class and a Wednesday night class. Monday nights is more of a script break. Sorry, this is cold reading. Now, cold reading is essentially you'll get a script, and for 10 to 15 minutes, maybe even less or a little bit more than that, you will break down the script and do your best to ask your questions. However you approach and prep for a script, you do that, memorize your lines, and then you go back into class. Or, I like to step out, so I'll go back into class and then we film it. I'll grab my phone, or the teacher will grab her phone. She'll record the scene that we cold read for, and then she'll give notes on what we could have done better. So it really teaches your brain to adapt, to think quickly. In the case, if a casting director or director, whoever says, "All right, here's a script. Can you cold read that for us?" And you have 10 to 15 minutes, and come back whenever you're ready. So come back whenever you're ready. I would take the whole day, and yeah, it's come up quite a bit. I remember a time on set, it was a commercial that I did, and it had about 5 pages of dialogue. And I didn't know that. I only thought I had 1 page because that's what I was sent. Now, this isn't a dog on my agency or the production or whoever, handles the communication, the emailing, and all that. I just know that I got sent one piece of paper. This was still early in my career, so there was a lot to learn in terms of, if this happens, don't just continue on with whoever you're talking to when you get on set. Call your agent, call your manager, whoever, and says, "Hey, I didn't get the scene." They'll communicate back with whoever contacted them, and they said, "Hey, listen, I wasn't sent a page or a script more than just the one that I was sent. So please be patient with my client." Or they're in your corner, and all of us really just want to help each other out. But this was an instance I was in. I had 1 page of dialogue memorized, and I remember, I think it was the AD or maybe even the producer, assistant director, standing for AD. There's still so much terminology that I'm still trying to learn. But the producer came up to me and said, "Hey, you got all your mom lines memorized? You ready?" I'm like, "I'm ready. It's a simple page. Let's go." And he's like, "Yeah, but you got a few more lines than that." And he pulls out an entire, well, he had a stack of paper, but in which he pulled out, 4 pieces of pages out. He said, "Here, this is or he gave me everything." And I was like, "I didn't get this. I don't know what to do." He said, "Don't worry, don't worry. We'll have a teleprompter." And they were very comforting, and they gave me plenty of time. They said, "Don't worry, we have other talent here that we can film before you. So if you need time to prep, go ahead." This is essentially cold reading. I have 10 to 15, however long I had. I had well over 20 to 25 minutes to memorize 4 pages of dialogue. Full pages. Think of a sheet of paper, words on it, full page dialogue for this commercial. So they helped me out the best they can. I was, like I said, I was still early in my career, so I forgot to contact my agent, my manager, to let them know, "I'm scared." I didn't get this and I don't want to mess up and look silly. Um, but future reference, if that ever happens to you, first things first, just contact your manager, your agent, and say, hey, I didn't get sent this. Look over your emails, and everyone will help you out accordingly. Now, that goes to Monday night class. You get a page, you have 10 to 15, however long minutes, maybe even less, a little bit longer than that, and you got to start filming. So that class I'm very grateful for. Wednesday's class, which we got into monologues, it's more script breakdown, it's more acting techniques, it's more getting into the Meisner. I'm looking up because I thought I had my Meisner book here. I read Sanford Meisner's book, the repetition exercise, reacting, just there's different techniques. There's Uta Hagen, there's Stella Adler, and the godfather of all acting, Konstantin Stanislavski. He's born and raised, I believe, in Russia, in Moscow, somewhere. I'm half Russian, so I'm just like, I want to go to the Moscow Art Theater, and I want to meet him. No, he's passed away. I think maybe he's a vampire. I don't know. I will be going to Moscow actually to celebrate the new year, going into 2027. So hopefully, I will document and vlog that journey of seeing what the Moscow Art Theater is like. Maybe one day train there. Who knows? But yes, Wednesday's night class was about monologues. Now I have done many monologues in acting classes. I did a short film. Like I said, I'm no professional. So I am a professional. Um, I mean, I have I have an agency. I have a manager. I've worked my way up to where I am, but there's still so much I have to do, so much to learn. I'm always learning. It's not like I love. See, this is me without this is me without a script. I feel like you've already noticed the change. Different camera, me kind of blambering on, saying ums. The beginning, and I'm gonna get back to monologues, but the beginning of actors' notes, I had a teleprompter. I still do, and it has bulletin points now. But before, it had a full script, full word for word script, and I was trying to do my best to make those words my own, as if this would happen to me on set. I've actually been. I remember it was a TV series. I was just feature background, meaning that they only had like 12 background that they kept just wanting. They didn't want anyone else. They just wanted 12 people, the same people for 2 weeks. So it was a featured background. And I remembered when I was on set, they pulled out this giant teleprompter and had many different characters and actors when they came in to read off this teleprompter just because they were having a hard time with their scenes. So I was like, maybe I might be in an instance where I have to read off a teleprompter and make those words my own. So that's exactly what I did for the first half of Actors Notes. This is the first episode where I'm kind of just blabbering, just riffing off. I think this is the sole purpose of Actors Notes. And yes, I'll get back to monologues, but this is the sole purpose of Actors Notes. I write down notes in class, whether it's improv class at the Second City in Chicago, which I will make a video about, or my classes here where I'm based in Kentucky, or experiences I've had on set in moments that I felt like, is anyone else feeling this way? Does anyone else have questions about why do we need monologues? What is a dramatic and comedic monologue? Where do I find monologues? What's the purpose of all this? That's what I thought. And maybe to someone out there on this journey of trying to be a working actor or figuring your craft out, maybe you have these questions too. And it's nice to know that someone else out there is going through the same thing, because it just feels like we're connected in a way. And it feels like the world's not so big after all. I don't know why I just turned into a Disney quote. But that's the purpose of it. So I appreciate you watching this far into, whether that's any long form. I'm going to put this on my YouTube and on Spotify. So I appreciate you watching. If you can comment down below that you made it this far, type in monologue. That is the key word. If you comment the word monologue, I will know that you made it this far. And I have to say, I love you and thank you. Now, back to monologues. What did we talk about? Well, that's why this is called Actors Notes. Having something prepared, and I'm just going to go note for note. I have notebook here, and I actually have my monologue. I remember my acting coach gave this monologue to me when I started taking her classes. I've been with her, Beth Hall, for 4 years now, and she's based here in Kentucky. But she's helped my acting career in so many amazing ways. So kudos to her. But she gave me this monologue, and she says, "I want you to play this dramatic or comedic. We'll get to how you can play one monologue both ways, but basically, a monologue is dialogue. It's words that you say, but it's not towards a scene partner. This is just words that you say in only basically like you're telling a story. That's my interpretation. Monologue is just a one word story. You're saying all the lines. You could be saying this to someone, but having a good chunk of a monologue is just something that you say. Um, yeah, either to yourself, to someone else, but no one else is speaking back to you. Now, why is it important to have a monologue prepared? What does it mean to have a prepared monologue? To me, this means having whatever monologue you choose, whether it's from a novel or a play or a movie or TV show, from an actor or actress that you're like, I like what he said. I'm going to take that and make it my own, or try to say it just like him. So when you have something prepared, this is amazing. You're just working on your craft, because in an instance where I'm always going to say casting director or director, whoever, producer, somebody might say to you, do you have anything prepared? And this is essentially saying, I want to see your ability as an actor to show, your range, whether you can be dramatic or comedic. And that's some of the sole purposes of monologues, being dramatic or comedic, but it's to show your range and your talent as an actor. Do you have anything prepared so I can get a taste of what you're like? That sounded too sexual as I said that, but you get the point. I think I can. This is my podcast. I can say dirty jokes. No cussing though. I don't. Only when I'm very passionate. Um, just out of a dirty joke. Anyways, going back to having something prepared, dramatic, comedic. As you can tell, the monologue that I received when I was asked, "You want to play this dramatic or comedic?" I want to play this dramatic. Ooh, because this is a breakup scene, and I do have this somewhat memorized, and that's the biggest thing, having it memorized. Um, Choosing between dramatic or comedic is something that is truthfully how you say it. This goes back to how people say it's not what you say, it's how you say it. There's a lot of truth to that when it comes to breaking down a script. I have a whole stack of paper from 4 years. Let me show you real quick. 4 years of different scripts that I received in acting class, I've saved. Um, and yeah, it's just text on paper. How you say those words will make it dramatic, will make it comedic. This scene that I have right here, my monologue, it's a breakup scene. It literally says, "This is how it ends." The grand finale to this relationship. I don't know why I'm reading it. I have it memorized. The grand finale to this relationship that took up 4 years of our life. 4 years. And then it just goes on and on. I was gonna say I could go on, but I don't remember. I don't have the lines super memorized. Um, but or I could be like, if in my mind I'm creating a backstory. Maybe I want to be out of this relationship, and for some reason I have to create more backstory here. The My girlfriend. I want to get out of this relationship, and for some reason I have to stay in it. But then she says, "Let's break up." I'm like, oh, so this is how it ends. Okay, I would say that in a way that if maybe no, I kind of like that backstory. Yeah, I like that backstory. I'm like, oh, this is how it ends. Oh, the grand finale to this relationship. Oh, that took up 4 years of our life, and then go into it. Was that funny to you? Maybe to some, maybe not. But it's how you say those words that make it dramatic or comedic. Or you could just search up on Google AI. maybe create your own monologue. A lot of people in my class today, when we went over monologues, they've created their own monologues based off the personality of someone they knew, an actual character, whether that's a movie character or someone in their real life, and created a monologue based on what they feel like they would say on an imaginary circumstance. You know, put them in an amusement park and they're very hot. What do you think they would say in this moment when they see a long line of people for a roller coaster they really want to ride? And someone says, "Sorry, we're about to close the park." Don't know why you would do that, but you would definitely feel something. And they would take that instance and they would create this character and monologue from that. I'm rambling too much. Let me actually use the teleprompter. I told you what happened. This is me using the teleprompter. What scene or exercise did I do? This was not really an exercise. This was more just getting familiar with your monologue, having it memorized, figuring out to have range, where to have that range of emotion, where to take beats. You know, is there certain, you know, when you get a script, there are commas and dashes and dots. The writer didn't put that in there for no reason. There's reason they put these commas and these moments to make it, you have to make it sound human, but there's a reason for it. You know, if you say, "Oh, you know this and that," that's the line. "Oh, you know this and that." But if there's a comma between "oh, you know," so "oh, you know this and that." See, there's a beat, there's a moment. I feel like I can feel someone thinking like, "Geo, does it really matter? It sounds like you're thinking too much into this." Good. I'm glad you thought that thought. If you haven't thought that thought, I'm gonna tell you now. All of this, acting, breaking down a script, monologues, dramatic, comedic, it's all thinking too much. You hear amazing actresses like Viola Davis. She says she has a whole journal and creates an entire backstory on a character, a life before the script she was given. And I'll go on the other side of the spectrum and talk about Morgan Freeman as an actor, but let's talk about Viola Davis right now. A whole backstory, meaning that when an actor or actress receives a script, they have a character, and that character, there's so much information in the script. You could have 115 pages, 300 less, whatever it is, depending on what project it is. If it's a TV and film or a movie, you have a character. And there's so much in that script you can break down, like, oh, this person is very egotistical. This person thinks very highly of themselves. This person's very shy, very reserved, kind of overthinks a lot based on what they say in a script. And you figure that out by reading it. But when an actor knows that a character is a human being. A human being was born and they were raised. They had a childhood that sometimes, depending on the project, like I said, and depending on the script, isn't in the script. So you have to create a childhood. Why do you have to create a childhood? Why do you have to? Why does it matter where you were raised? Think about it. I was born and raised here in Kentucky. That makes my habits of saying yes, ma'am, yes, sir, a little bit more adamant. That Viola Davis could put into her character, like, oh, this guy was born and raised in the country. He wouldn't say it like this, or stay true to the text. But he would have a certain demeanor about him. Or you were born and raised in Hawaii. Maybe you're more chill. Sorry. I've been I like Hawaii. I've traveled to all the islands and it's beautiful. Um, but yeah, having a childhood, that's how you were raised. That's why you do the things that you do. That's why the way. That's why the way. That's why the character is the way they are. And maybe they went through a traumatic experience. Maybe they just really love ice cream. And every time they see ice cream, even if it's listed, it's said in the script, and nowhere does the character actually say anything about ice cream. But when ice cream is put in front of you in the scene, maybe that character has some kind of relationship to that. That specificity that creates groundedness. You have some substance. Now, like I said, Morgan Freeman And this is really tying into monologues in terms of what we kind of talked about today. So I'm not trying to stray away too long. I'm still new to this whole podcast thingy. But Morgan Freeman on the other spectrum says, I don't really have, or maybe in this moment in his life as an actor, when I just saw a simple interview with him, he said that I don't really need to create this backstory. All I need is in the script. The hard work was done for you. The character was already made. They have these lines. You can break this character down very, very detailed, and you don't have to go into childhood, and you don't have to create something that didn't need to be created. And I like that approach a lot because I'm not one to give a backstory yet. I haven't really dived into a character that much. Now, if it's an actual person, if it's a real life person that your character, or sorry, that you are portraying, like Jamie Foxx played Ray Charles, that he was born and raised, that influenced how he spoke, why he played piano the way he did, and his upbringing. So that's why Jamie Foxx really had to go in depth with that. But this just shows you that every actor is different in terms of their technique, regardless of where they are in their career. From Morgan Freeman saying, "I don't really create a backstory. I read the script. The script gives me enough," to Viola Davis, who is an amazing actress, and she creates this journal full of backstory. So everyone has their own process. Everyone will have their own prepped monologues. And I'm going to give you, what is it? What does my teleprompter say? Oh, it's some actionable steps. We love actionable steps here. Where can you get a monologue? Like I said, simply Google dramatic or comedic monologues. Have AI generate you a monologue that you can read. I might even do that and make that a video. However, if you're like, I need something a little bit more, a lot of plays a lot of plays don't get acknowledged for their monologues that TV and film actors, and I'm a TV and film actor, do in scenes or maybe have prepped for. Where did you get your monologue? From a play. It could be any play. If you want to play with Shakespeare or anything, a Hamlet, all that type of stuff, go ahead. But that just, your monologue is a representation of your ability as an actor to show your range from your personality. They're looking for your mannerisms, your tonage, your cadence, and how you say things, how you think, why you know why you say the things that you do. Books, a lot of books. You can take different dialogue. This is just different options at this point. I'm pretty sure if you Googled something or you looked at plays, that's already great there. If you look for very common monologues, like something from The Breakfast Club or many monologues that people use, it's just like this is I've heard this before, meaning that they've seen you before somewhere. And in my eyes, you want to be different. So why say something that's already been used? Go somewhere that no one else has been. No one goes to plays. No one uses these books. So grab a book. I love how my acting coach put this. Just find a piece of dialogue. Okay, this is about relationships. This may not be a great example, but you get the point. Get a line of dialogue. You're like, ooh, this could be a great monologue, but it's too short. Well, just go to another portion of the book that you're reading and pick out another portion. You're like, ooh, that's good too. And then bundle it up together. Bada bing, bada boom. You have a monologue only unique to you from the books that you know and you're familiar with that no one else has done before. It's a great monologue right there. Other options are, ooh, oh my God. How did I get this? How did I get this far in the video and not even talk about this? Make sure your monologue is under 1 minute. I don't know if you've practiced a monologue and how long your monologues have gone for. I think mine have gone maybe 3 minutes when I was performing it, and she let me go on for as long as I needed to get my lines out in the way that I wanted to do it. But she was like, "This has to be." When I mean she, I mean my acting coach, and under a minute just keeps it simple, not too long, not too short, enough to be dramatic, enough to be comedic, and really, make it make it under a minute. Because if you do film this and you do have this on your resume, whether that's Actors Access, Casting Networks, whatever profile to where you can upload footage of you performing as an actor, make sure it's under a minute. Casting directors, whoever they are, when they look through thousands of different monologues and self tapes and personality slates and so much more. So keep it easy on them. This is a portion where you think I would edit out pauses, but I don't. Why? Because this is real, this is authentic, and I don't like editing, so that's why we're gonna keep this in. I think we really covered a lot here. Oh, I'm gonna leave you guys with this as well. When you have a monologue, whether it's from a book, a play, something that you printed off, something that you found on Google or AI generated, whatever it may be, whatever character you chose that you want to let live through you, or whatever it is, practice it, memorize it, but play with it in the sense, and this shows what I feel like this shows what a great actor is, their ability to adapt. Because say you perform your monologue that you have prep memorized and you feel very confident, and you said it in the mirror thousands of times. I don't really do that anymore. I stopped doing that because thinking about Meisner, when you react to someone, if you're just reacting to yourself the whole time, it's different than when you actually have a whole person who might react differently, and that makes you deliver your line differently. I don't want to get into that. Let me know in the comments if you want me to get into that. I'll get into Meisner. I actually would love to take a Meisner class, an Uda Hagen class. Who is it? Yeah, Stella Adler. There are so many amazing, great techniques and teachers that I would love to learn from a training center. Um, but yes, you have your lines memorized. You say them to a casting director. You say it. You perform it, and then the director says, "You know what? Just give it a different direction. Play with it." What that means, give it a different direction, as the director says, that means put yourself in a different environment of a different situation. In my case, how I was playing with my dramatic and comedic scenes from the same monologue. I had a girlfriend. I'm breaking up with her. It's dramatic. We should be sad. We should be passionate. But what are the circumstances? Maybe I want to get out of that relationship. Maybe um, I want to hold on to that relationship for dear life. Already, those two instances, when I say my lines, you could already tell by my demeanor from those instances that I would play this whole monologue differently. If I want to keep this relationship, there's more urgency, you know. But if I don't want to be in here, I'm like, oh shit, this is how it is. All right, all right. Oh, and I look at her, I'm like, oh, I gotta pretend I care. Oh man, the grand finale to this relationship. Whatever direction you go in, you're playing with it. And when a director says change it, or maybe he gives you a specific direction, he says, maybe actually don't think of this as breaking up with your girlfriend. Think of this as losing your job, a job that you've been 10 years at. And honestly, you're put up with it, but you're talking to your boss. So give it more of a professional vibe. They might say it just like that. And your ability to adapt as an actor, as an actress, and to perform your monologue with that direction really shows um, how well you can not just think on the spot, but it shows you can adapt. If they ask you, if you say you book something, it's a movie, it's a TV show, they're constantly changing things. Things are always moving. Lines get switched up. Um, Text message, as you can tell. So yeah, play with it. Definitely play with it. Give yourself a different circumstance. Why do you say a certain line this way? All right, give that a different scenario. Like in here, I say, look at me. No, look at me. Why would I say that to a girl I'm breaking up with? What if I don't want to be with her? I'm going back to those two instances. If I don't want to be with her, I'm like, no, look at me. No, look at me. But if I, well, I forgot my instance already. It's late at night. I'm tired. Um, if I do want to be with her, I'm like, no, look at me. No, just look at me. I'm a more softer. So play with it. Play with it. And I'll leave you with this. I know I was all over the place. This episode is really just me to experiment to try something different. I really did hope. I really do hope that this might resonate with someone who's understanding monologues or acting classes or questions they might have asked themselves that I'm still going through. Leave in the comments down below if you've experienced what I've experienced or if you have a different thought or opinion. I want to hear that. I know a lot of creators, they're like, I don't want to hear, or I don't look forward to hearing the bad comments, the good comments, all of it. I want to hear your opinions because every actor's journey is different. Every actor has their own notes, and sometimes our notes are the same. Ooh, that was kind of cute. And in case no one has told you today, I love you. You matter. You have value. And let me say something I haven't said before. If you don't have a monologue prepped, this is your sign to start looking for a monologue. Dramatic and comedic, dramatic or comedic, I don't care. Just work on something, having it prepped, having it memorized. Trust me, that is going to help you in the long run. All right. I'll see you in the next one, and I love you.